What is up there everyone, it's the guy with no gamer tag here, and today I want to talk about favourite DLCs. Now in the background is some Battlefield Hardline robbery gameplay, and this DLC has definitely made it onto my shortlist. I downloaded it when it was released for free for a few days, and I have had a lot of fun on it. My favourite map out of this DLC is definitely Museum. It has a really cool atmosphere and aesthetic, and I really just like the way the game plays for Heist, which is the game mode that I play the most. I wasn't too much of a fan of the map where you were in a cargo area on a ship. That one didn't float my boat so much. Breakpoint was a very nice looking map, but overall Museum was my favourite. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because DLC is something that you don't always buy. I personally haven't really bought any DLCs for a while now. The last game I bought DLCs for would have to have been Call of Duty Ghosts, and I really did enjoy most of the DLCs. I wasn't a fan of DLC 4 on that, but my absolute favourite DLC of any game has to be DLC 3 for Call of Duty Ghosts. I had so much fun on that particular DLC. The 4 maps really were amazing, apart from Favela. Funnily enough, it was the remake of Favela was the only thing I wasn't keen on with that DLC. I really just didn't like the way the map played and how everyone played it. A lot of people were camping on that map and it just didn't play well. Pharaoh, in my opinion, was a really fun map. I really enjoyed that, especially the Blessing of Anubis field order. That was such a fun little field order because you kind of turned into a god for a few seconds and a few lives. You could just go around and decimate everyone with every perk in the game, and it was so much fun. I still remember a game where I used the Trinity Rocket, a Helo Pilot and the Loki, and I managed to get 4 people with the Trinity Rocket, and that basically set me up to get a Loki, and I just had so much fun on that map. There was also Mutiny, which was a very weird kind of map, but there's so many moments I do remember, because I used to play a lot of the objective mosh pit for that DLC. I remember one particular game, I was playing Search and Rescue, and I managed to actually get 6 kills in that match. I don't believe I necessarily killed every enemy, but I killed one enemy more than once, and I had this really awesome streak where I shot a couple of people, knifed another, and then got all the tags, and it was a really awesome clutch moment. And it wasn't necessarily the best map because there were way too many ways people could camp. Playing Blitz on that map was an absolute nightmare because of the way people played. You just have IEDs everywhere, people leaning, and it was just a complete mess. But it was still quite a fun map for some gamers, and I had some very fond moments on that map. And my favourite map out of that DLC had to be Departed. It just had a really cool aesthetic to it. It looked amazing. Sometimes it wouldn't play so well because you'd have people camping in the buildings with a bulldog, or they would just be sniping you across the map. It was a case with a lot of the maps. If someone was playing in a really annoying manner, the map wasn't fun. But overall, I really did enjoy the map Departed. It just looked amazing, and in general, it did actually play quite well. I liked the lanes, and I found it a very fun map to play. And what's more, the field order where you got to be the mariachi man just looked amazing. It was a really fun experience. And overall, I would actually say also the Extinction map was my absolute favourite out of all the Extinction maps. Awakening was just incredible. Yet again, with following the trend of this DLC, the map did look amazing. I love the aesthetic of the map, and I love the addition of the Ark attachment and all the new cryptids. And furthermore, the way it continued the story of Extinction, I just really enjoyed it. It's definitely the map I put the most time into for Extinction, and I just love playing it. I sometimes have actually gone back and decided to just play that particular map because I have so much fun on it. It's almost undescribable how much fun I have on it because I can't quite convey exactly what I feel towards it, but I definitely did really enjoy playing that. And that's the thing, if you have a great DLC, it gives you some really fond gaming memories, and you can never kind of leave it alone because you kind of want to go back and relive them. I really enjoyed a lot of the DLCs for Battlefield 3. Armoured Kill really didn't float my boat, and although I did enjoy Endgame, it wasn't something that I ever really wanted to go back to. The maps didn't quite live up to that. I loved Close Quarters, that was a lot of fun, and the Back to Karkin DLC was amazing. The remakes of those, I think Battlefield 2 maps, I believe that's where they came from, but the remake of those Karkin maps was so much fun. The best part of them, in my opinion, was the way that they had so much variety within the maps. You'd go into an area, like at Strike at Karkand, if you're playing Rush, you start in the area where there's loads of close-knit buildings. There's a lot of buildings in a lot of places. Then you progress to the second base, it's a little bit more open. There's more like squares and areas with fountains, but there are still some buildings. And then as you progress, you go through a market, and then you have to go across the river, and you're in a sort of industrial area. And it was that progression. It was like you were waging a war in a way. You were actually progressing through the map and going through so many different combat scenarios. You had the same on Sharky Peninsula, Waco, Wake Island. Wake Island was a bit different because it was a much more open map, but the design was very cool. And also you had the skid loader. That thing was a bit of a laugh. It was a bit of a troll vehicle, but it was a lot of fun. Gulf of Oman wasn't so great. It's okay for Rush, but when you play Conquest, it just turns into people camping on all the buildings and trying to snipe people across the map, which isn't quite that fun for gameplay. But overall, Strike at Karkin, in my opinion, is one of the best DLCs ever made. And then you also had Aftermath, which I haven't played that much of, mostly because there weren't ever enough servers for me to really go into it. But it definitely looked amazing and it added some really cool stuff. And I was just wondering what everyone else's favourite DLCs are, if you actually buy them. Because DLC is the sort of thing I'll only buy if I know I really enjoy the game. I haven't bought any DLC for Black Ops 3 because I do not enjoy the game consistently enough. I never bought the DLC for Battlefield 4 and Hardline because although I have enjoyed the games, when they first released I wasn't interested in them enough to actually want to buy these DLCs. Unfortunately for me, they're now being released for free. If any of you are interested, the Battlefield Hardline Betrayal DLC is going to be free for the next few days, so if you want to download that for free, you should go to your in-game store and it should be there. I will definitely be giving that a go. I have no idea what it's going to be like. Hopefully it's as good as Robbery, but I will have to wait and see. But what do you all think? Do you actually buy DLCs, or are you happy to stick with the vanilla game content? I do occasionally buy DLCs every now and then if I actually decide I really enjoy the game and I want to sink even more time into it and I want extra content because I love the game enough. But in recent years I haven't bought them because the games haven't quite lived up to that. But anyway, this has been the Gardener Gamertag, and I'll see you on another video.